Have you ever wondered what the heck is makeup and how do I do it? There's so many steps and so many things go into just creating one look. And it's not like we learn makeup in school. So really, what the heck is makeup? Today we're gonna go on a makeup education deep dive and I'm going to be showing you exactly how I do my makeup. I'll be walking you through my makeup routine while giving you my best tips and tricks and showing you what tools I use to create a snatched makeup look. So if you wanna learn exactly how to do your makeup, you've come to the right place because I'm your girl and together we're gonna learn exactly what makeup is all about. So without further ado, let's jump right in and let's have some makeup fun. Since this video is all about how to do your makeup, I'm not going to be talking much about the products that I'm using. I'm just going to be holding it up and that's it. So if you're curious about what products I'm using, I'm going to be linking them all down in the description box just in case you want to go ahead and check those out. So the first thing that you should always do every single time you start your makeup is moisturize your skin. Listen, I know moisturizing your skin can be quite annoying. You know, if you're running late, you don't have enough time, you're like, this isn't necessary. But I'm telling you, moisturizing your skin is crucial to how your makeup sits on your skin. If you feel like your skin looks a little bit dry or cakey or crusty throughout the day, or if you feel like you can see some texture on your skin, it's probably because your skin is dry and it needs some moisturizer. It doesn't have to be a fancy moisturizer either. It can be any moisturizer you have. Just make sure you apply it to your skin. All over, everywhere. Your forehead, your cheeks, your chin, your neck, everywhere. A good daily moisturizer is really going to get you right every single time. So that is step one to having the most snatched makeup. You want to start with a moisturizer every single time. And that was my dog. Her ears, when she does her little shake, she's got really floppy ears, so it's really loud every single time. So the next step in my makeup routine is always primer. And honestly, skin prep is the most important part of your makeup because if your skin looks and feels good, your makeup is going to do the same. For me personally, I really love a good pore smoothing primer, so that's exactly what I'm going to be using today. But you can use a glowy primer, you can use a gripping primer. There's so many different options of primers that you can use, but for me, I love a good pore smoothing one. I like to keep this mainly on my cheeks where I have pores because this primer is going to help to fill in those pores, so that's where I'm going to concentrate it the most. And then whatever is left over on my fingers, I'm going to bring up to my forehead as well. And then you want to wait at least 30 seconds before applying your foundation on top so that your primer can really set into your skin, so that when you apply makeup on top, it doesn't break up and it doesn't get those peeling beads everywhere. But I like to do my eyeshadow before I do my foundation anyway, so I might as well just go ahead and do my eyeshadow off camera first, and then I'll return when I do my foundation. And I always do my eyeshadow first because I hate when eyeshadow fallout or glitter or anything from the eyeshadow gets onto my foundation, so I might as well do it first so if anything falls out onto my skin, I can just wipe it away. So I'll be right back while I do my eyes real quick. Alright, I'm back and I just did a quick little eye look real fast while the SPF really settled into my skin. So now it's time for the foundation. So I'm going to show you exactly how I apply my foundation every single time I do it. The key to success when it comes to foundation is only using the smallest amount needed to cover your whole face. The less foundation you put on your face, the better your skin is going to look. Now for me, I'm going to use a more medium coverage foundation because that's what I prefer. I like it in the middle, not too heavy and not too light. So what I always recommend is pumping one pump of foundation on the back of your hand. And then I always go in with a foundation brush. Now it doesn't really matter what kind of foundation brush you use, just any brush will work. I mean, heck, for this step you can even use your fingers. It really doesn't matter, just slather the foundation onto your skin. Now personally, I apply my foundation starting at the jaw line and then I work up towards my cheek. And with my brush, I'm doing little stamping motions. And I really want to see how much of my face I could really cover up with only using one foundation pump. And that's the most important step to me. I only want to use one pump of foundation. I mean, maybe 1.5 if I want to be a little crazy. If you apply a lot of foundation to your skin, you're actually risking more foundation to sit on top of your skin and cake up. But if you only apply the smallest amount needed to cover your whole face, your skin is going to look flawless and snatched all day long, I'm telling you. Okay, so now my foundation is completely onto my skin and it's looking pretty good, but we're not done yet. So first I take some setting spray, and honestly any setting spray will work. But in my opinion, the glowier the better. So I like to cover my eyes so that the spray doesn't hit my eyeliner or my mascara and cause it to run. And I will spray my face a lot, honestly, with this spray just to get it all nice and wet. And then I'm gonna let it dry down a little bit, but not all the way. While that's air drying real quick, I'm just gonna give my beauty sponge one spray. So now I'll take my beauty sponge and I will just use it to press in the foundation into my skin. And I will press it in all over my face, everywhere, from my nose to my cheeks, my jaw, my forehead. And I would recommend doing this for at least 30 seconds. I know this step could be quickly skipped over, but honestly, it's so important, I will never skip it. Whether it's 5 seconds of tapping the foundation in my skin or 30, it's very, very important. When I do this, I really notice a huge difference the way that the texture looks on my skin. It really looks way more smooth this way. It's insane, actually. Okay, so now when it comes to concealer, I also think using the tiniest amount needed is very important. The more concealer you apply underneath the eye, the more it's gonna crease. And honestly, everyone has creases under the eyes. It's very, very normal if your concealer creases. I don't think that there's any concealer in the whole world that will not crease. But what we can do is learn how to apply it so that it doesn't crease as much. I just like to apply the smallest amount needed to cover up my under eye as possible underneath my eye. Honestly, I do use probably a little bit more than I need to, but that's just because I'm extra, but still. So now after I apply concealer underneath my eyes, I like to apply it to the center of my face because I like to think if a spotlight was on my face, where would you see the light? And it would be at the highest points of your face. So right here, I like to apply a little bit on my forehead, in the center between my eyebrows, a little bit on the tip of my nose, my chin, and a little bit on my cupid's bow as well. Now I'm shining my phone flashlight so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. The light is hitting at the highest points of my face, my forehead, tip of my nose, my cupid's bow, and my chin. So this is exactly where we want to add the highlight to the foundation. And I always recommend choosing a concealer shade that's a little bit brighter than your foundation shade. Whether it's 1 to 2 or 3 shades brighter, that will really be the key to success to make the highlighting effect work. So now I'm just going to blend out the concealer. You can use anything you want, whether it's a brush, whether it's a sponge, however you want to blend it out. I'm just using a brush for this. And when I blend out my concealer, I really want to start at the bottom of my concealer and then work it up towards my lower lash line so that most of the concealer is concentrated on my cheekbone and where my dark circles is. And then when there's really nothing left to blend out, I start bringing it all the way up to my lower lash line. And then when I get towards the end of my eye, I want to help bring the concealer up towards my temple just to help lift my face. So see right here, I'm going to start at the bottom of my concealer and then I'm going to help blend it up towards my temple. And then I'm going to slowly start to move up towards my lower lash line just so I bring up the tiniest amount of concealer towards my creases. The less amount of concealer you put where you have the most creases, that's going to help you not crease as much throughout the day for sure. And now when I blend out the concealer on the center of my face, you can just see how it adds a really nice subtle spotlight effect on my chin. It's so cute, and it really is a subtle difference that's really going to enhance your makeup and make it look snatched. Half the time the difference between good makeup and amazing makeup are little tiny steps like this. Okay, so now the concealer is all blended out, but of course we're not done yet. And I know this routine is getting very tedious, but the more you do this, the more it's just going to be second nature and you're not going to have to think about it. So now I'm going to do the exact same hack that we did for the foundation. I'm going to give my skin a nice spray. I'm going to spray the beauty sponge one more time. And then if you accidentally sprayed it too much and it's very wet, I'm just going to tap a little bit off on the back of this towel. So now the spray is almost dry on my skin, so I'm just going to go ahead and tap the concealer into my skin one more time just like we did with the foundation. And of course, while I'm at it, why not press in the rest of your foundation as well? You know, just one more press in for good luck. So for cream bronzer, I'm actually going to use one that's in a stick formula. So if you have a cream bronzer stick, I definitely recommend applying it with a brush. I know it could be a lot more fun to draw the cream bronzer onto your skin, and I know it's a lot faster that way. But trust me, if you pick it up on a brush first and then apply it to your skin, you're going to get a lot more of a softer and more natural application. I know the urge to draw this onto your skin is real, trust me, and I can't lie. Sometimes when I'm in a rush, I will draw onto my skin. So I just hold the bronzer stick in one hand and then the brush in the other, and I just pick a little up. So now where I place this is very important. You want to find your cheekbones. Mine are right here, and then underneath your cheekbone, there's a little hollow of your cheek, and that's kind of where I want to place my brush, right in the hollow at the bottom of my cheekbones. And then I'm going to start doing some stamping motions with the brush, and as you can see here, it is blending out instantly. As soon as the cream bronzer hits your face with the brush, it's blending out. But if you draw onto your face first, you're going to have a huge glob of bronzer that you're going to have to try to blend out. And sometimes your cheek is not big enough for the amount that you draw, so then you have a lot of product onto your cheek. Okay, so now once it's applied to the cheeks, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to bronze up my forehead as well. And I really only want to focus on the perimeter of my forehead with this. I don't want to cover my whole forehead with the bronzer, only the perimeter. You want to think of creating a 3 on your face. So here's the top of the 3 going down to the cheekbone, and then over here you're going to hit it with a jawline as well. This is the area of the face that would typically get the most sun if you were to tan out in the sun. And plus, it's a good way to shrink that forehead like me. I've got a really big forehead, so I like to apply it all over the perimeter to help shrink it up. But there's nothing wrong with us big forehead girlies. You know, we love it out here. We love our big foreheads. And then I'm also going to just bronze up the sides of the nose as well so that the nose isn't just sitting there as white as possible. But guess what? We're going to do the exact same foundation hack. I'm going to spray my whole face with my setting spray one more time. Just kidding. There's still one more time after this. So bear with me. One more spray of the sponge, and I'm gonna tap the cream bronzer into my skin with my sponge. Do you see how it helps to just press it into your skin and make it look so beautiful? And if you do this after every single cream product, your skin is going to look so snatched. I cannot tell you enough. So now for liquid blush, we kind of want to apply it the same way that we did the cream bronzer. But what I'm gonna do so I make sure that I don't apply too much liquid blush to my skin, because sometimes these liquid blushes can be extremely pigmented. I'm gonna place some on the back of my hand, just like this. You just roll the applicator on the back of your hand and a bunch will come off. And then what a shocker, I'm gonna take this little brush right here. It's a little stippling brush, so it's good for cream products. I'm gonna pick up a little off the back of my hand, and then on the other part of my hand, I'm gonna tap it off to make sure that I don't have too much pigment on the brush. So now my brush is loaded and it's ready to go. And then I'm gonna start tapping it out on my cheek. And you can see here that it's instantly blending out the liquid blush, and it's not too crazy and it's not too pigmented, because we are controlling the amount that we pick up on this brush. This way I can keep layering it to the pigment that I want, instead of accidentally applying way too much at first and then trying to blend it out. That is a nightmare. It's way easier to build up to the pigment you want than take away the pigment if you added too much. The way that I like to place blush on my cheeks is I start at the apples of my cheeks and then I bring it up towards my temple to help lift my face. And I just use some stamping motions to help blend out the blush. I also like to apply a little blush on the bottom of my chin and across the center of my nose as well. I love me some blush, so I'm gonna go crazy with it because I love it that much. And of course, what do you know? I'm gonna give my skin one more spray. Spray the sponge, and then I'm gonna tap in the liquid blush into my skin with my beauty sponge. And wow, it really makes a huge difference every single time. Now to set your face, you can choose which tool you prefer personally. You could choose a powder puff like this, or you could choose a brush. For me personally, I prefer the brush method because I feel like it applies the powder a lot more smooth and lightly, where this is more for that full coverage look. If you really want your powder to be brightening underneath the eye, this is the key for that. Now I'm just gonna take my beauty sponge and I'm gonna tap out any creases that happened underneath my eye while I was applying the cream products. And once those creases are all out, I'm gonna go ahead with my brush and I'm just gonna set underneath my eyes. I'm gonna start at the corner of my eyes and then I'm gonna bring it up towards my temple, and then I'm gonna keep pressing the powder into my skin until you cannot see it any longer. And I'm just using a loose translucent powder to do this, but you can use a pressed powder, you can use whatever powder. This is just the method that I prefer. And then once I apply the powder underneath my eyes, I'm just gonna hit my T-zone with some powder as well, and then my nose and my smile lines, because we do not want those to crease throughout the day. Okay, so now with the powder, you could totally stop right here. You do not have to add any more powder than this. Any other powder that you put on the face would just help make your makeup last a lot longer. So for me, if I wanted my makeup to last all day long, I'm gonna powder the entire rest of my face, even over my bronzer and blush. You could totally stop your makeup look and call it a day right here. Honestly, you just need to do your lip combo and your eyebrows and then you'd be done. But for me, I like to be a little bit extra, and I want my makeup to look as snatched as possible. So now I'm gonna pick up some powder bronzer onto my brush, and honestly, this is a pretty fluffy bronzer brush. The more fluffy of a brush you use for this, the softer your bronzer is gonna look on the skin. So for any powder products that you apply to the skin, you wanna use a very fluffy brush. So since I didn't apply any powder on top of the cream bronzer, I'm just going to essentially set the cream bronzer into place with this powder bronzer. So I'm going to be applying this exactly where I placed the cream bronzer, right in my cheekbones, and then I'm gonna bring it up towards my temple. And with this powder bronzer, I'm just doing swirling motions to help blend it out. You want to go in with a very light hand, and of course on the jawline as well, and on the sides of the nose. Okay, so now once you applied your powder bronzer, I do have a hack for you as well, and it's very similar to this hack right here. So I'm gonna grab my fluffiest powder brush that I have, and I'm gonna make sure that it's completely clean. So I'm gonna wipe off anything extra that might have been on this brush from last time, and you can see that a little bit did come up, but I do not use this brush for anything else except this step. I literally keep this as clean as possible. So basically, I'm just gonna blend out the powder bronzer with this brush. This is gonna help diffuse any harsh lines, and it's gonna make your bronzer look so much more smooth. Oh my god, it's crazy. I'm seriously sharing with you all my makeup secrets right here. This is crazy. I mean, honestly, I don't know if you can tell the real magic that this step just created. My bronzer looks so much more smooth. This is another step that I will never skip in my makeup routine, and I can't believe I'm really sharing all my hacks. This is insane. So now I'm gonna apply some powder blush blush to my cheeks. And essentially I'm going to be doing the exact same thing I did with the powder bronzer, but with the powder blush. I'm going to use this tiny fluffy powder brush, and I'm going to tap off the extra powder because we do not want it to be too much pigment onto my cheeks. And I'm just going to start to lightly tap the blush onto my cheeks, starting at the apples of my cheeks, working my way up towards my temple to help lift my face. And with this, I'm just going to help set my liquid blush into place. And then I'm also going to dust a little bit on the center of my nose as well. And you can see here I'm looking quite crazy. I got a little bit too much blush on. But do not worry, because with my big, clean, fluffy powder brush, we are going to fix that. I'm just going to take this clean brush and I'm going to help blend it out. Harsh lines who? We do not know her, because with these blending steps, you will not know harsh lines ever in your whole life. I like to apply a little bit of highlight to my cheeks, so now is the perfect time to do that. I'm going to take a smaller fluffy brush for this, and now I'm going to see on my cheeks, where is the light naturally hitting? You can see right here on the tops of my cheekbones, so I'm going to apply the highlighter right there very lightly. I mean, lightly to me at least. And then I'm going to apply a little bit of highlighter exactly where I concealed on my nose earlier. And if you ever feel like you applied way too much highlighter, which I don't think is a possibility, you can go in with that clean fluffy blending brush and just tap a little bit away. To me, this is my trusty in case of emergency brush. If there's ever an emergency and you accidentally added way too much to your skin, go in with your in case of emergency brush, your clean fluffy blending brush. It's crazy. I use my in case of emergency brush every single day. Now, one of the last steps that I do every single time I do my makeup is bake my face. This really helps to snatch my makeup in a very specific way. So all you need for this is my beauty sponge and some loose translucent powder. I'm gonna dip my beauty sponge and really coat the pointy side with the translucent powder. You want it to be very coated. The more powder it has on it, the easier it's gonna be to slide it across your face. So now, starting at the back of my cheekbone by my ear, I'm just gonna place the beauty sponge, and then I'm just gonna drag it in a straight line towards the corners of my mouth. So what this powder is gonna do is once you wipe it away, it's gonna clean up any blush and bronzer that was below this line. I really do not know how this works. I don't know the science behind it, but it's gonna clean it up like it never happened. Now, the longer you leave this powder sit under your skin, the more intense of a line you're gonna get. So if you want it to look most natural, you can just leave it on for like 15 seconds and then dust it off. But I do not want the most natural look, of course. This powder has been sitting on my face while I did my eyebrows, my lower lash line, and my lip combo, so it's really been sitting on there. So now it's time to dust it away. And I'm gonna use my in case of emergency brush, my big fluffy powder brush, to do this. And I'm just gonna simply dust the powder away, and underneath you will see the magic that it has created. And now, do you see right here how clean my blush and bronzer look? It looks so good. And I also think it helps to plump my cheeks as well, because now they're nice and lifted. And last but not least, I've got one final tip for you. So go ahead and grab your favorite setting spray. Make sure to cover your eyes so that your eyeliner and your mascara and all that does not run down your face. And just give your skin a really nice spray all over. And this time, I mean, go crazy with the spray. You really want to drench your skin so that it's soaking wet. And once your skin is soaking wet, that's how you know you did it correctly. And now you can see my skin is looking super glowy. And this setting spray hack right here makes a huge, huge, huge difference. And setting spray at the end of my makeup is another unmatched hack that I will never leave the house without doing. Setting spray really takes my makeup from looking dry and crusty to amazing, glowy, and flawless. And that's it. Here's today's final look. I do feel like my makeup looks pretty snatched today, if I do say so myself. And it's all thanks to these makeup hacks and these makeup tips that I do every single time I do my makeup. To me, makeup is so much fun and I have so much fun doing it. And these are the hacks that I've learned throughout the years that have really helped to improve my makeup. And I hope you learned something in this video that you're going to start to incorporate into your own makeup routine. Makeup is truly fun, but it does require a lot of practice. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me. Make sure to leave a comment down below about which hack is your favorite, because I love to hear from you. And of course, as always, all the makeup products that I used in this look today will be linked down in the description box for you, just in case you want to go ahead and check any of them out. And I'll be back next week with a brand new video, so make sure to go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss when I upload my next video. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Oh, and P.S. don't forget to subscribe so that we can become besties. Love that for us.